This show, I figure would be interested to the group is covering all specially painted units for Amtrak, Norfolk Southern, CSX. And this was taken between 2015 and present day. No order. I just grouped it by railroad. And I just want to thank the chapter again for allowing me to do my third presentation in a little bit more than a year's time. So we'll go ahead and get started. So first, we're going to start off with Amtrak. I don't have much of Amtrak, but the stuff I have being able to photograph regard their heritage program is rather interesting. And we'll start off with their heritage ACS 64 Spring number 642 honoring veterans of the country. This was taken in November of 2015, and to date, this is my only encounter with the 642, and this is on a southbound train. I think it was the Sunday after Thanksgiving in Hillthorpe, Maryland, at the fairly new MARC station at the time. Then going next, this is at Point of Rocks. This was in March of 2016. This is P42 156, which is in the Pointless Arrow Phase 1 scheme, leading the Capital Limited when it looked more like a train back then versus the one baggage car and 3 or 4 coaches that we get now. So this is him getting on to the Metropolitan Subdivision at Point of Rocks again, pulling the eastbound version of the Capital Limited. Next shot, this is with the 145, which is one of the P42s that they painted in the Phase 3 scheme. I was with fellow chapter member Bill Kaufman with this. This was taken from the overpass in Thompsontown, Pennsylvania on Norfolk Southern's Pittsburgh line. And I've had the privilege of shooting this unit many times, mostly when it ran back and forth on the Pennsylvanian for several years between Pittsburgh and Harrisburg. And this was taken back in August of 2016. Again, this is in Thompsontown, Pennsylvania on Norfolk Southern's Pittsburgh line, headed, I believe that's he's headed west. Again, here's the 145 again. This is in March of 2021, so a little bit more recent. And this is 145 again, leading the eastbound Pennsylvanian, crossing Sherman's Creek on the Pittsburgh line. So it was a real nice later morning shot coming east with a nice light over Sherman Creek again in March of 2021.
Alex, are those
Yeah.
What devices, whatever you call them, on that bridge reinforcing things, or do you know?
Excuse me, that I am not sure. I am not a structural engineer, and I'm not so that I am not sure. I'm sure they serve a purpose, but I don't know what the exact purpose of those apparatuses are. So
okay,
Conrail did that. They put those are steel beams, and they put rods all the way through them to make just to stabilize the bridge because it's over 100 years old.
Yeah.
It kind of looks unsightly, but don't want it to happen what happened with Rockville Bridge.
No, okay.
No, okay.
So moving on, this is the 145 again, and this was in January of 2021. Remember, this is a really, really cold day, being right on the Susquehanna River. This is on the Harrisburg side, and boy, it was cold as hell with when that wind blew. We're talking 20 to 30 mile an hour wind. So here it is coming across Rockville Bridge, almost reaching its terminus, or not its terminus, but coming into Harrisburg, crossing Rockville Bridge on the Harrisburg side of the river. And then this is in rainy Newport. This is in Newport, Pennsylvania, again on Norfolk Southern's Pittsburgh line. Again, this was I shot this train with Bill Kaufman, and this was during a rainy day in May of 2021. And this is where the former Pennsy position light signal bridge was. It's now fell, of course, to all the new SafeTran crap signal bridges they have now. So I never did get any shots of when the Pennsy signals were still up. I've only gotten shots back here at Port Interlocking with the new signals. Sadly so. All right, moving on. This is with P42 130. And this is representing Amtrak's Phase 2 scheme. This is in Cumberland, Maryland. Bill Kaufman and I went out, I think, to chase the 1309, but while we were waiting for them to start up, we got word that the 130 was leading the eastbound Capital Limited again. And this is a telephoto shot of him coming into Cumberland, almost making it to his station stop, passing a waiting double stack train to go west up the Keystone sub on CSX. Telephoto shot, followed by a nice wide angle shot. Try to look up who owns this building right here. I'm not sure exactly who does, but add a nice prop to the scene here in downtown Cumberland. And this was in June of 2022, so this was last year, fairly recent. Here we go. So while he did his station stop in Cumberland, Bill and I moved to the Mexico Farms overpass at Mexico at the east end of Cumberland Yard, and here he is getting underway, heading toward points east. His next station stop from Cumberland would be Martinsburg, West Virginia. So here he is leaving a great shot you can get on most mornings at Mexico on the east end of CSX's Cumberland Yard. Moving on, we move on to Amtrak 108. This has received many nicknames. I've heard this unit called Woody the Woodpecker, the Redhead, whatever you want to call it. This is on Amtrak's Capital Limited. I mean, excuse me, not the Capital Limited, the Pennsylvanian. This is in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania, and I believe that facility back there is the Wenger Feeds facility in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania, on Amtrak's Keystone line as he heads east. Not east, west toward Harrisburg. So this is a telephoto shot of him coming west there. And then, so while he stopped in Harrisburg, Bill and I went to Rockville Bridge. And again, this was with fellow chapter member Bill Kaufman, and we went up on the rock outcropping on Rockville Bridge right there at CP Mary, CP Rockville, and got him coming across. And that translates to this nice wide angle shot right here coming around the bridge at CP Mary, coming off, getting ready to enter NS's Pittsburgh line outside the Harrisburg terminal. Moving on, so we moved on to Lewistown, Pennsylvania, an iconic former Pennsy station at Lewistown. So here he is. He's made his station stop. So he sat here for, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And of course, while he did that, it afforded us a lot of opportunities to get a lot of nice shots of the engine. And of all the heritage units, this is one of my favorite ones. I really like how the blue and red complement each other on the engine. I really think they did a nice job of painting up this engine. Sure, it looks better than the Phase 5 Shamu scheme that it used to be in many years ago. So just another shot at with the station more in focus with the train just prior to him departing to go west to Altoona. All right, moving on. So speaking of more heritage units, this is the Amtrak 100. I think it was nicknamed Midnight Blue. Again, this is in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania. I'm pretty much standing at the same spot as where I was with the 108. This is at milepost 81.5 on Amtrak's Keystone line. And this is the westbound Pennsylvania again with Amtrak 100 in charge as he races west, probably doing about 80 miles an hour headed toward Harrisburg. Then again, we caught him at Rockville Bridge at CP Mary on the far track, which certainly worked out for us because the sun was over on the far track, not the east track. So the rail gods were with us for this particular photo because the photo would have been okay, but not so great passing through the shadows on the closed track right here at CP Mary. And this was taken in January of 2022. So as we move farther west, we found it to be a nice surprise with nice little coating of snow on the ground. This is at Roundhouse Road. This is just west of the Lewistown Amtrak station on the Amtrak's Pittsburgh line. Maybe, I don't know, maybe about 3/4 of a mile west. And here he is on his way to Altoona, having left Lewistown station with nice late afternoon sun complemented by the nice powdery white stuff on the ground. Again, this was in January of 2022. Moving on to Amtrak 203, one of the newest units. This unit they painted up to bring awareness to the Operation Lifesaver campaign, which, of course, highlights grade crossing safety. What do we say? See train tracks, always expect a train. So we got word of him coming east. So again, Bill Kaufman and I set out to Hancock, West Virginia on CSX's Cumberland subdivision and got a nice telephoto and wide angle shot of him passing under the interlocking at Hancock, right past a small CSX yard right here. This was a short chase. There's only two. Banger got two shots. And then tried to get him at Shenandoah Junction, but just the way traffic was, the safe bet was to go to Point of Rocks, is what we see right here, passing the iconic Efren Francis Baldwin Station at Point of Rocks as he's headed down south to DC, getting on CSX's Metropolitan Subdivision at Point of Rocks. And this was in August of 2022, mere weeks before I got married to my lovely wife, Kelsey, who's watching the program right now. So this was a very special time for me during this time period. Trains and getting married. What more can you ask for? Okay. Okay, moving on. So that's a little bit of Amtrak. Now we're moving on into the CSX side of things. So first, let's preface by saying I'm glad that CSX finally took all these units out of captivity, being the 1776, the 911, and the 3194. When they were first painted, they were only used for special events and were not put in revenue service. I'm glad they finally released them from captivity down in Waycross. And this is CSX train IO31, aka the old Orange Blossom Special, crossing the Susquehanna River in Perryville, Maryland. And this was in June of 2022. And the 1776 commemorates and honors all of our active servicemen and women and all that have fallen, given their lives for this country. And this unit is former CSX ES44AC 3112, now renumbered the 1776. So we've got some real nice shots here from the Perryville boat ramp. Don't try this on a weekend, because on a weekend during in-season, it's littered with boaters. So this was on a Friday. I was just off of work that day and was able to get many different shots of it crossing the Susquehanna River right here. So very fortunate, very happy to get these shots as he crosses the Suzy Q Bridge heading south on the Philly sub toward Baltimore.
Do you have a loudspeaker playing the song?
No, they did not. I just threw that in there to abbreviate the old Susquehanna River. Now, this was a neat shot. This is he's reached Bayview Yard on CSX, and so he's getting ready to make his set off and pickup here in Baltimore. And I thought it was neat to get this shot of Baltimore on this bridge. This is crossing US Route 40 in the city limits in Baltimore. So if you go down there, you get this nice shot of trains, passing over this nicely painted steel girder bridge commemorating Baltimore City. So thought that was a neat shot to get right there. And moving on, he's on the CSX Capital Subdivision now, heading west and eventually to head south on the RFP. And this is in Savage, Maryland. And the sun angle here was not that great. So with a little bit of tweaking with editing, it made it a lot better. So this shot really came out pretty well for shooting it with a westbound. It wasn't quite, the sun had not quite swung around enough for a westbound to be on the nose, but with a little bit of tweaking and editing, it turned out to be a really nice shot. Again, this is in Savage, Maryland on CSX's Capital Subdivision as he heads west. All right, next one. This was with Bill Holdsworth and Bob Kaplan. We had gone out to shoot the 1309. This is on the weekend when they did the Jim Wren change photo charter with 1309. And after we had done that with the day, I got word that the 3194, which honors law enforcement personnel for the United States, was leading CSX intermodal train I-136. So we got him here in downtown Cumberland, coming into downtown. And then prior to that, we got him. This is in Corriganville. This is still on CSX's Sandpatch line, the Keystone sub. This is in Corriganville, Maryland, just a few miles outside of Cumberland. I guess this was chapter member Bob Kaplan and Bill Holdsworth with me to get this shot. So got some real nice shots of that. And this was back in January of 2022. So keeping with that, this is on a different day. This is with Bill Kalkman. This was on CSX I-135, which is I-136's westbound counterpart. And this was in February of 2020, or excuse me, I believe, again, February of 2022. So not long after I got the first shots of it. And this is going coming west at Hancock on CSX's Cumberland sub. So we got a real nice shot of him coming out of the interlocking here. And moving on, this is in Corriganville again, going westbound. And this facility over here is the IA Construction Corp facility, which is a paving contractor, which added a nice prop for the westbounds coming through, just getting on the Keystone line on Sand Patch here in Corriganville going west. Now we're further up on Sand Patch. This is in Fairhope. So amidst the tree tunnel, we found this nice patch of sunlight to get to 3194 as he climbs the grade in Fairhope. So we got some nice early winter, late afternoon light coming into focus here. And moving on after that, this is in moving farther along. This is in Garrett, Pennsylvania, on CSX's Keystone sub. This is a telephoto view of the train working his way west, and then a wide view as he comes closer to the camera, working his way west. And this is as far as we chase in this day because it was winter time. We know winter days are a lot shorter than spring and summer days, so any farther west of here would have very little to no usable light whatsoever. So we wrapped up the chase here for the day. Moving on again, this is my first encounter with the the 3194. This is on CSX Q016, which is an intermodal train that runs to Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. And Jim Kleeman, Bill Kaufman, and I went up and chased this train from Mance all the way to Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. So quite a long way. And this is him coming around the iconic horseshoe curve in Mance, Pennsylvania, coming down the hill, heading east toward Cumberland. And this was in late June of 2021.
What are those two cylindrical tanks in with the main fuel tank? Are they also fuel or?
That might be a Paul Woodring question. Paul, do you have any idea what those are?
Fuel tanks.
Probably main reservoir, auxiliary reservoir for air.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. All right. Again, this is so we got him at Manson. We got a good jump on him. This is in Ellerslie, Maryland, on CSX's Keystone sub. So he's not far out of Cumberland. Got a nice telephoto shot of him here in Ellerslie. And I think he did a quick crew swap in Cumberland. So we're back on the Mexico Farms overpass in Mexico, and here the train is heading off for points east as he pulls from the yard. New crew aboard, heading east here at Mexico on the Cumberland subdivision. Now moving further east, we're back in Hancock, and got a nice jump on him. And here he is pulling east through Hancock interlocking at Hancock, West Virginia. Myself, Jim, and Bill here, and a bunch of other rail fans were here to get this because this is one of the only other times that this unit had come back in the general area since its first inception of service. So there's quite a few people out chasing it this day. And this is now on the CSX's Lurgan subdivision. This is on the Fairhoff Chapel Road crossing. This is in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. This is my first and only time shooting any type of train on CSX's Lurgan subdivision. So this is very picturesque farm country here as he heads toward Chambersburg. Moving on, this is just outside Chambersburg. Pulled up alongside and got this nice crop field to see near the CSX intermodal facility in Chambersburg. Got a nice side shot of engine and train right here. And here he is. He's creeping along real good here. So it would do many shots within about maybe a 2-mile stretch. So again, he's just outside the limits of the Chambersburg intermodal facility, coming up toward a grade crossing. And he has finally made it to the yard here. So he's going to pull up and he's going to start braking his train in the cuts and reverse his train into the yard. As you see the leads right here, the yard is just off to the right where he will break away his train and break it up and back it into the yard to have the containers offloaded for transport via truck. So while we're here, we got a lot of nice shots of him pulling forward and reversing as he worked the yard prior to terminating for the day. Okay, so to complete the trifecta of these units, I was able to photograph the CSX 911, which commemorates and celebrates all of our first responders, being paramedics and firefighters. And this unit had eluded me, I don't know, maybe 6 times prior to this photo, either being with other commitments or being stuck at work. So I was very overjoyed to get these shots. This was back this year. This was back in April of 2023, and this was leading CSX Autorack train M214. And I went out to intercept it and chased it from Pointer Rocks to Relay, Maryland. This was my first shot at Pointer Rocks. I had just beaten the train here merely by a minute or two. So it was a case of fly down the car, dump the car, get out and get the picture. And it turned out to be a very nice shot. Moving on, now we're on CSX's Capital Subdivision. This is at the Laurel B&O station, which still stands on CSX's Capital Subdivision, and he is nearing Jessup, where he will work the Jessup yard with his cut of loaded Autorack cars, which he is pulling behind him. So was able to get this nice shot of him pulling through the station at Jessup. And moving on, this is just a few miles east. This is coming into Annapolis Junction, and this is over here on the right. This track right here is the lead to the yard, but he was on track 1, so he was crawling very slow through here. So I was able to bang off a a nice telephoto shot here, followed out by a nice wide angle shot of him coming around the bend at Annapolis Junction just before he starts his work at the Jessup Auto Facility. And while he's there, if you're ever in the area, if you chase one of these trains that work Jessup Yard, the trains are long enough. This is at the Jessup Mark Station where I'm standing right here. And these trains that work the yard are long enough where Jessup Yard is back to where my pointer is right here. And the trains are so long, they pull all the way to the east end of the yard. And it's a big yard. And you can get nice shots of units of interest pulling forward and shoving back as they set off and make pickups with their train here in the yard. So if you ever happen to get an eastbound that works the yard here, I definitely suggest going here to get some real nice raster shots of them working the yard while they set out and pick up cars to go east.
Hey, Alex.
Yes.
Annapolis Junction, is Henkel's restaurant still there?
That was a favorite. No, they're long gone.
Oh,
But they are fondly remembered by rail fans that would go and watch trains to get a bite to eat at Henkel's. Yeah, unfortunately, I never was fortunate enough to go there, but I heard many of the older crowd that hangs around St. Denis and that whole general area used to love to go to Henkel's for a nice meal.
The engine crews would get off there and get a sandwich too, I think.
Yeah, it was a popular spot all around.
Yeah.
So here we are. So this is using my long telephoto lens. So the train is at the furthermost east lead in the Jessup Yard right here. So the engineer is waiting while I guess this conductor is making another cut. So I was able to get a nice telephoto shot of him sitting here at the east end of Jessup Yard. If I go too fast, just slow me down if you want to see a particular photo or not. Just trying to keep things moving along here fairly regularly. And so we moved on. He's done working Jessup, which took a couple hours. And this is him coming. He had just come across the Thomas Viaduct in Relay, Maryland. He's about to enter the iconic S curves at Relay right here. So this is where I ended my chase for the day, and he is bound for Curtis Bay Yard in downtown Baltimore. So for those not familiar, the Thomas Viaduct would be off to your left, out of view, around the bend a little ways right there. For those who are not familiar with the area, very iconic B&O bridge in the Baltimore area. Okay, another unit that I was blessed to get. This is the CSX 4568. This is one of their SD70 Max that they decide to paint in an Operation Lifesaver scheme to bring awareness to railroad safety. And this train is on I-137, which is another westbound intermodal train that originates in Baltimore to go to points west. And this is down at the Seagirt Intermodal Facility. And this shots are all had off Newvale Street in downtown Baltimore. So got a lot of nice shots of him not only pulling up, but to couple on his train and work Seagirt before he gets on the main line heading out to points west. So this is a great shot of industrial Port of Baltimore. Here's the 4568 on the right. And this is I-137. This is the Y-231 power, which is the yard crew that works the Seagirt port right here on the left-hand side.
Looks like an erector set on steroids.
Yeah, this is my first time ever going down to Seagirt, and I'm sure glad I did. Definitely offers some neat shots for all the marine cranes and other apparatuses down there. So I was really glad I went. So just a telephoto shot of the 4568 as he couples on to or gets ready to couple onto. He was coupling onto a CSX geometry box car for I think track telemetry that he would couple onto the head end of his train. So he was going to retrieve that box car before he coupled onto his train, which is to the left out of view in this shot right here. So here's that said box car conductor right in the rear. He's pulling around to make his pickup of his train, which is we'll see here in just a second. And while he was here, just got a nice roster shot while he was here as his conductor lined the switches into the port for him to back up and couple onto his consist.
Mm-hmm.
So we see he's now backing up. His consist is right here. I think he has two cuts of cars, one left, one on the right, which will be his train for the day. So just got a multitude of different shots while he was working the Seagirt facility here in Baltimore. So now he's coupled onto his train. Now he's making several cuts. This is at Keith Avenue in downtown Baltimore. This is in the Penn Mary part of Baltimore, where the Canton Railroad is based. So here he is making a cut. Excuse me. Pardon me. Pulling out to underneath Keith Avenue right here. So there he's getting ready to enter Canton's Penn Mary Yard, which is right here, and these are two defunct Canton Road CS7 switchers that are have been decommissioned and used for parts, and I think are waiting to meet their maker via the scrap torch in the future.
Over 50 years old.
Yep. Now I've repositioned to Newkirk Street, so it's just a little bit to the west. So he is still working the yard, and he's going to make a long cut right here. So he's able to get down to Newkirk Street. And this is a telephoto shot of him on the apex of the curve at Newkirk Street. And here's a wide angle shot of him coming around right there. And again, I think this is some people don't like this unit, but I think it's interesting and definitely breaks up the monotonous dark future that CSX has now that embodies the railroad. A lot more colorful than the current crap they have right now. Just my personal opinion. All right, so this is in the last light of day. This is at St. Denis, Maryland, one of the foremost hotspots for rail activity in Baltimore. And here he is. He is on track 2, heading west on CSX's Capital Subdivision. As we see right here, the CSX Capital Subdivision starts just west of this sign, and east of the sign is where the CSX Baltimore Terminal Subdivision begins in Baltimore City. So here he is westbound, heading out of town, heading to points west, heading out back up toward the Chicago area. All right, moving on. So now we move into CSX's most recent endeavor, their version of the heritage units, and this is with CSX 1973, their unit commemorating the Chesney System Railroad, and this is former CSX unit 3049. And I chased this train from Pointer Rocks to downtown Baltimore, and here he is on CSX's Metropolitan Subdivision, passing the E.F. Baldwin Station at Pointer Rocks, heading east. Again, this is similar to the shot I had with the 911. He has reached Annapolis Junction, where he will work the yard as well. And here he is coming into Annapolis Junction. This time he's on the correct track. He's on the yard lead, which goes into Jessup Yard. And this is where he'll work for several hours before continuing east, eventually up to Twin Oaks, just out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And he's going slow. An opportunity to get a nice telephoto and wide shot of him here in Annapolis Junction. So here he is with the iconic Chesney colorage of the unit. Opportunity to get a lot of nice roster shots of him right here. And again, back again at Jessup Yard. So the train was long enough where he made long enough cuts where he pulled all the way down to the MARC platform, which is right here in the foreground, if not farther. And we were able to get a lot of nice shots of the train work in Jessup. And I was here with Bill Kalkman and several other local rail fans in the area too, getting shots of him switching Jessup Yard, going away shot of him. And then it got nice low level shot of him shifting more cars at the Jessup Auto Facility at Jessup Yard. So now he is, the crew is run out of time and he is now tied down. This is at Holland Surrey Road on CSX's Baltimore Terminal subdivision. So I do not recommend going to this area after dark for many reasons. Baltimore City is a former shell of itself, and we have our share of legal problems with crime. So luckily, we're out here in numbers, which aided to our advantage. And you'll get this nice shot of him as he pulled down and tied down the train at Holland Surrey Road. So while we were there, we were able to get a lot of nice shots of the engine while it was being tied down by the inbound crew. Again, a conductor side roster shot of the engine. Okay, changing gears a little bit. This was back in May of 2022, and this was the CSX P001 OCS train. And this was, again, Bill Kalkman and Jim Kleeman and I set up this train with the iconic repaint of the F40s into the iconic B&O passenger scheme. And the schedule was for him to leave Bayview Yard in Baltimore at 7 a.m. in the morning. So we went and set up in Rosedale, which is outside of Bayview. And that morning, the CSX's former CEO at the time decided, oh, let's leave an hour early. So when we got the word that he was already through Perryville, it was no crap type of moment. We thought all hope was lost. And I just said to Bill and Jim, let's get in the car and haul tail up north and see if we can intercept him somewhere. And luckily, he stopped at Willsmere Yard to meet the CSX westbound intermodal train IO31, which allowed us to get ahead of him for a few shots. And this is in the Ogden Township of Boothwyn, Pennsylvania, on CSX's Philadelphia subdivision. And CSX1 is former CSX F40 9998 or former Amtrak F40 number 280. That catch it with a crew change in Philadelphia. We went up. This is on CSX's Trenton subdivision now, and this is at Woodbourne. So we waited here for maybe about an hour or so, and he finally came into view, and we were able to bang off two shots, both a telephoto and a wide angle. And this is the only shots we got of him because any farther north, within northbound this late in the day, it was late morning. The sun angles would not be worth going any farther north. So we ended our trip here. But I'm certainly glad that we got these shots because I had never had the opportunity to shoot the OCS since they'd repainted the entire passenger consist and the F40s into the B&O passenger gray scheme. All right, again, so moving on to a little bit of CSX heritage. This is the Seaboard unit, ES44AC 1982, leading the other hotshot CSX Intermodal IO32. And in this shot, they have recombined the Tropicana service with the intermodal traffic. Before that, they were putting the Tropicana cuts on CSX Q300 and Q301, which were manifests that ran between Richmond, between Florida and I think Selkirk or North Bergen. But anyway, this is the train. This is in Hyattsville, Maryland. This is crossing the north branch of the Potomac River. So we were able to get some real nice reflection shot from the bridge right here. And I definitely recommend anyone go down there in the early morning, get some nice shots of the eastbounds coming across the bridge here. And this was not too long ago. This was back, I think, in August or July of this year. So not too terribly long ago.
Those banks almost look like a canal.
Yeah, sort of. But no, yeah, this is the north branch of the Anacostia watershed right here, the Anacostia River. All All right, so moving on. So we beat feet and head up to Baltimore. Anyone's familiar with Baltimore? This is Bush Street, which is another popular rail fan locale hangout spot, and he is now on the CSX Baltimore Terminal subdivision, where he'll work Bayview Yard, making a sit out and pickup. And this is at the again approaching the Bush Street crossing at Carroll Interlocking on the CSX Baltimore Terminal subdivision. So with this work complete, we're now in Rosedale, Maryland. This is at the Contractors Road grade crossing in Rosedale, and he has done his yard work, and now he's setting a foot for points north as he heads north on CSX's Philadelphia subdivision now. And again, I was with, I think, Bill Kalkman, his nephew, Don, and I think Jim Clean might have been with us, and they didn't chase any farther. So I set out and chased him all the way up to Perryville. My first choice would have been to shoot him coming across the Susquehanna River Bridge, but this was on a Sunday. It was very popular with boaters, and there was too much interference to get a clearing shot off the bridge. So I went to the next best spot. And this is at the spot where they do the holly tree lightings right behind me every year, which was a tradition the B&O started, running the train from Baltimore up for the tree lighting of the holly tree at Perryville, Maryland, right here, right past Jackson Station Road. So a nice zoom and wide angle shot of the 1982 here at Perryville.
That's East Aiken on the railroad.
Yep, East Aiken on the road, yes. And here we go. This is with the Conrail unit. Again, this is with Bill Kalkman and Jim Kleeman. And we were originally, we were going to go up to Willsmere to get him, but I forget what had happened, but it didn't work out. So we decided to go. This is at Aberdeen Station. This is right next to the former B&O station, which is under rehab right now, based on I think donations to be restored. And once you know it, it was rainy and cloudy before, and just before the train came, the clouds broke, blue sky, and a rainbow, and add for a near perfect shot of him coming south on, this is CSX Manifest Train M421 at Aberdeen, coming south on CSX's Philadelphia subdivision.
Must be gold in that yellow boxcar.
Yeah, could be. Maybe Lucky himself with his Lucky Charms were riding that. Who knows? All right, next, this is again in Rosedale. This is in the waning lights of the day. And this is coming into Rosedale. This was either Contractors Road again, or this was 68th Street, otherwise known as the Dump Road grade crossing in Rosedale. And this is the only other shot we got of him because, again, we were rapidly running out of any usable light for photographical purposes. And this was back in July of 2023 of this year. Okay, this is my most recent catch with the CSX. This is their Baltimore and Ohio Heritage Unit. Again, for some reason, and to our benefit, once all of these new units have been released from being painted, a lot of them flip back and forth between IO31 and IO32 on CSX running the East Coast. So we were able to get a lot of shots of these trains going up and down. So here's the B&O unit coming south at Contractors Road, pulling the Orange Blossom CSX train IO31 again. Again, here he is. This is at Bailey's Y in Baltimore. He's passing Raven Stadium, which is known as MT Bank Stadium. And people probably ask, why didn't you get the shot of the train with the MT Bank Stadium logo? It's like, well, my perspective is, since they took the Ravens logo off and just put a green MT Bank sign up there, I think kind of took a little interest away from the sign, took away from the characters. So I went for the next best thing, in my opinion, to include the Baltimore skyline in the background. And this is with Bill and Jim again. We tried to chase it further south from here, but got stabbed in construction traffic in Hyattsville, and we're not able to get a shot of it coming south through Hyattsville. So this is where we parted ways today for chasing this unit.
Yeah, the Chicago White Sox stadium is named after a bank too.
Yep. Okay. So now we move to the dark side. We move to Norfolk Southern. And this is not on Norfolk Southern trackage. This is on CSX. This is back when they were running oil trains from the Philadelphia Energy Solutions plant up in Philadelphia, running oil trains empty via CSX via Sandpatch going back west. And this day it had the Erie Lackawanna Heritage Unit leading, and this was in November of 2015. So this is my only encounter with the Erie Lackawanna. Kind of a drab day, but certainly nice to get the Erie Lac leading the train west on CSX off home rails going west, heading back out west toward the Chicago area.
It's just Lackawanna.
Okay, Lackawanna. Okay.
They have a separate Erie unit.
Okay, all right. Next one. So this is with the CSX. I mean, not the CSX. Norfolk Southern 911. So this is their interpretation of honoring all first responders, being paramedics and firefighters. And this unit is not a GE; it's an EMD SC60E, and this is on train Intermodal Train 21M. This is before NS rebranded and reprofiled all the intermodal symbols that ran on the middle division. And this is him going west in February of 2016, going west on an intermodal train at a popular rail fan spot of Cove, Pennsylvania, on the CSX. I mean, at the NS's middle division. And also while we're there, also got, this is the only time I've seen this unit. This is a Go Rail. I'm not sure what the purpose behind this was, what Go Rail represented, but still a neat looking unit. People also referred this as Kermit the Frog because based on the green colorage on the front. And this was leading a CSX. I mean, God, why do I keep saying CSX? I have CSX on the brain. NS Intermodal Train 26T coming east at Cove on the middle track, heading east into the Harrisburg terminal. Also, this is all on the same day. Again, this is all on the same day. I got the 911, the Go Rail, and lo and behold, the Norfolk Southern Interstate Heritage Unit 8105, and this is parked on the controlled siding at Harrisburg, waiting for clearance into the terminal. And while I was here, it got many eastbounds passing the train, which definitely added to the picture. And I thought this was neat. Got a three-way meet right here. This train is parked as well, along with the A105, with a another eastbound intermodal shooting right up the middle, heading east into the Harrisburg terminal, again at Cove, Pennsylvania. This is with Mongo. This is the Heritage Unit honoring the Monongahela Railroad. This is at milepost 148, Mexico, Pennsylvania, on NS train 22W, heading east. Bill Kaufman and I were able to get this unit together. And this is the only shot we got of him in favor of chasing other things during the day. Now we go to the Erie, Paul. Here's the Erie. This is the Erie unit. They paired this up with the class unit of the AC44C6M rebuild programs right here. So we set out and chase. This is on train 64T, and we chase this train from This is in Mapleton, Pennsylvania, at milepost 193 on the Pittsburgh line, and we chased it from here all the way to Harrisburg. And here he is approaching very slowly, coming eastbound under the Pennsylvania PL signal bridge at Mapleton, Pennsylvania. This is a zoom shot, followed by a nice wide shot of him coming into the super elevated curve at Mapleton. So a very interesting power duo right here with the Erie Heritage Unit, and then the people call this Sonic Bonnet, the Blues Brother class unit AC44C6M, part of the rebuild program, rebuilding the C44-9Ws. So here we are, catch up again. This is a scene you can't get anymore. At least not with the signals. You can still get the 1910 bridge, which is slated for demolition here. I don't know when, but it's on the slate to be taken down. And of course, with PTC, all intermediate signals are removed on the Pittsburgh line. So I was able to get this shot of 64T coming into this is Port Royal, Pennsylvania, which is milepost 151 on Norfolk Southern's Pittsburgh line. So it was a nice telephoto shot, followed by a wide angle shot of him leaning to the curve heading east at Port Royal. Next, this is in Millerstown, Pennsylvania, again with the train coming east from the Route 17 overpass. So myself and probably at least 8 or 10 other rail fans were lined up here to get the Erie coming in underneath the Route 17 bridge in Millerstown. Then here we back at kind of Sherman's Creek coming into Duncannon. Great light, great blue sky. Of course, you never go wrong shooting the mini version of Rockville Bridge crossing Sherman's Creek with the Sherman Creek Bridge right here coming into Duncannon, interlocking and CP Cannon.
Is there still a diner at Duncannon? I stopped there one time.
Whereabouts, Charles?
I was, well, it's real close to the town, as far as I remember. It's been years ago, but I stopped there to get something to eat, and while I was,
I know there's
basically-
the Marysville Diners there. I don't know if you have down in Duncan, but Marysville Diner, which is just east of here, that still stands. I don't know if that's if that rings a bell or not.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't ever recall seeing a diner many times I've been through Duncan. I'm not saying there's not. I've never seen one unless it's like a hole in the wall type of place. All right. Here we go. So now we're in Cove. This is at milepost 117 at Cove. He's coming up the middle track, coming very slowly into the Harrisburg terminal. So the slow speeds allowed us to bang off many different shots on this about mile and a half long stretch. Again, this is still in Cove. He's going that slow. We just zipped down the road and got him. This might be at the grade crossing at Burley Road, which is just at the end of the long straight at Cove, wherever that's for those that are familiar with the area. And here he is coming. This is in Marysville now. He's I think passing. I think it's like the Blue Ridge or Blue Summit Outfitters recreational shop right here that sells a bunch of canoes and kayaks and other various forms of sportsman gear. It's a telephoto shot of him coming through Marysville, and just a wide angle shot at Marysville. And then this is he's getting ready to pass the GI8 intermodal yard at Harrisburg. So this train went east. It would eventually get on to Norfolk Southern's Harrisburg line, then Reading line east of here. So here he is getting ready to go through downtown Harrisburg. And here he is. This is the Harrisburg Transportation Center, which is the Amtrak station for train riders. And he's now swinging on, getting on to the NS Harrisburg line, which heads east to Reading from this point. And this is where we conclude our chase of the day, this particular unit. Now moving on to Big Blue. This is the Conrail unit. And this was on, I'm trying to remember when this was. Oh, it was on this page. Okay. So this was back in June of 2021. This is on NS train 214, I think, which comes up north from Georgia. And this is on Norfolk Southern's B line. I guess, again, this is Bill Cochran and I, and this is intercepting him at Haymarket, Virginia on Norfolk Southern's B line, which runs from Manassas up to Front Royal, Virginia. So this is the beginning of our chase right here in Haymarket. And then this is coming through downtown the Plains, Virginia. So this is a telephoto shot coming through the Plains. My first time ever being in downtown the Plains. Most people shoot at the iconic former NW depot there, but this is my first time actually going into the downtown part of the Plains.
Southern Depot.
And oh, excuse me. So Southern Depot, Alex, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, my fault. Okay, and here he is, a wide angle shot of coming through the Plains. Then moving farther west on the B line, this is in Marshall, Virginia. This was, I think, right at or right around the corner from the Rectortown Road grade crossing. This is more rural farm country out here, so you get some nice open shots out here. And then this is in Linden, Virginia. This is where from the Fiery Run overpass. This was, I think, for whatever reason, we couldn't get any more shots of him from this point. So here he is from Fiery Run overpass in Linden. All right, and this is quite a lineup. This is at the Consol coal facility in Baltimore. So here we have the Virginian, the Penn Central, and your custom NSET 44 AC all lined up here waiting to go west to go back to the mines to be refilled. And this is definitely when the PC is looking rather ratty, kind of how the PC looked back when it was still an active railroad. So this is kind of an interesting shot to get down in Baltimore. Just a wide angle shot. And this is on with NS train 211 with the New York Central. This is my only time seeing the New York Central unit. Of course, albeit it's very dirty. Never got to see it when it was clean. And I don't know if you could tell, but this day it was paired up with the Wabash unit right here as well. And he's again piloting NS train 211, flying south here in Berryville, Virginia, on Norfolk Southern's Hagerstown line. It's a zoom shot, and then we have a wide angle shot of him flying south through Berryville. And this was back in August of 2022. And just moving on, this is the Central of Georgia, and this is leading NS train manifest 11N. Again, this is at the Roundhouse Road grade crossing in Lewistown. And got a double here. Caught the Pennsy Heritage unit first going east, which I'll show here in a minute. And I decided to wait and get the Central Georgia, which followed up with a westbound not long after. So not often you get multiple Heritage units leading in one day. And sticking with the Central Georgia, this is on train 12R. And this is at St. James, Maryland, just south of Hagerstown on Norfolk Southern's H line, coming north. Again, Bill Kalkman and I chase this from St. James up to Enola Yard. So here he's coming up through St. James, Maryland. Just a wide angle shot of the 8101, the Central Georgia Heritage Unit. And then, hell, while we waited here, another double feature. We got a 740 empty loaded coal train heading back south with the nickel plate unit and the Penn Central unit. While we, I think just after the 12R pass with the 8101, we got word that the 8100 and the Penn Central lead the coal train south. So pretty cool. We got that. So now this train 12R has finished working Vardo Yard in Hagerstown. So Bill and I relocated to the small town of Marion, Pennsylvania. This is now on Norfolk Southern's Lurgan branch heading to Harrisburg. So here he is on his way headed north. Got a telephoto and wide angle shot right here. And then, what do you know? A third Heritage unit. We got the Glowworm, the Illinois terminal, flying south on train 211 here at Marion, heading south. I think as we waited for the 12R to come north. So it's a pretty banner day if you're a Heritage unit fan. Now this is moving up. This is crossing the Yellow Breeches Creek. This is at Boiling Springs, Pennsylvania, on Norfolk Southern's Oregon branch. This is all single track here. You can see it's a double bridge, but of course the second main's long been ripped out and it's single tracking going to this bridge right here in Boiling Springs. Still have a very picturesque shot. So my first and only time shooting here thus far on NS. And here we've called up the train. He's pulling up to his terminus of Enola. This is from the Railfan Bridge that overlooks the yard leads going into Enola. So here he is pulling into Enola after being held at Front Street on the Reading Bridge over in Lemoyne for several hours. And he finally came in and we were able to get a couple shots of him pointing into the yard lead in Enola Yard. And this is going away shot of him as he is just merely just several feet away of his terminus for the day.
Is that a coaling tower in the background by any chance?
Where do you see that? Right here? Up in the top right? Charles, you talking about here in the top right? Oh, okay. No, if you're referring to that, no, that's the I think that's the what's that, Route 81 overpass right there. So that's not a coaling tower. All right, so now another double heritage unit day. We got the NW heritage unit along with the original Norfolk Southern heritage unit. This is on NS train 228, and this is passing the Martins Elevator Complex in Morgansville, Maryland, on the very southern end of Norfolk Southern's Logan branch, when he is not far out of Hagerstown, Maryland, entering. Um, well, he'll be entering Norfolk Southern's Vardo Yard. And how times have changed, the weather's changed. So we had nice sun there in Morgansville, and now we positioned just south of Vardo Yard. This is shot from the Wrench Road grade crossing, and you can see a pretty steady rain. Rain certainly adds a neat effect to the shot, but certainly makes the photographer and camera awfully wet. So then we go farther south. This is in Berryville again, and it's dried up. Still cloudy, but it's dried up. And here the train. A surprise, we found the original that in my earlier shot that was trailing on the NS64T. We found AC44C6M 4000 leading NS15T, and we got a nice side-by-side shot of the 228 and the 15T here at Berryville. And once we found that, we decided to forego chasing the 228 with the 8103 any farther south in favor of the 15T, because I had never seen any of the two blue AC44C6M rebuilds. So we decided to chase that south, which we'll see here in just a second. So here again, this is a different encounter with the 8103. This is on NS train 212, passing the iconic Hershey plant elevators in Hershey, Pennsylvania, on Norfolk Southern's Harrisburg line. All right, now going back to the 4000. So again, this is on NS train 15T. The crew here is awaiting a signal to proceed south. So while he waited there, we took advantage to get many different shots of the train while he waited to proceed south. Again, this is in Berryville, Virginia, and this is in mid-July of 2021. So just different varying shots of the train sitting here before he took off or pointed south. Now he's on the move, and this is at the Overall Creek trestle. This is now still on the Norfolk Southern Hagerstown line. This is in the valley, and this is in Rileyville or Bentonville, again crossing the Overall trestle, which crosses the Overall run down here in the valley on the NS's Hagerstown line. And then I'm sure maybe people are familiar with this. This is the famous Compton trestle in Compton, Virginia, heading south. And this is about where we ended getting shots of him, because he went, and I think the crew sat so long in Berryville, the crew went on the law and went into a siding after here that we couldn't access, and that terminated our chase for the day here. But furthermore, this is a different day. This is with the engine's counterpart. This is the 4001, and this train was leading, or this locomotive was leading train 11Z manifest going south, and here he is at Vardo Yard. Light power, getting his training there before he heads south. So got some many different shots of the crew building their train here in Vardo Yard in Hagerstown, Maryland. So a real pretty day, great light, great clouds and everything. Getting ready to couple up onto his train, which is just off the left here before he heads south. Now we're on the move. Again, this is at Wrench Road under much better conditions compared to the shot I had with the NW just a few shots ago. Beautiful puffy white clouds, green sky, green croppage in the foreground, and he is on his way south on the main, heading for point south. So got two different shots while he was on the move here at Wrench Road. Yep, catching up with him. This is in Berryville, Virginia. This is just around the corner from where I had shots of the 4000 sitting waiting to go south on the NS15T. So this is right around the corner in Berryville. And this is in Cedarville, Virginia. This is where NS has their VIP Virginia Inland Port, which is a port that's inland, not on the water. And this is him headed south right here. And Oh boy, I remember this train was very hard to chase. Going down Route 340, I had to beat feet. And I remember I got out of the car and I didn't have to wait maybe a minute or two before the gate started going down. He was in sight and the race was on, so they say. And this is in Luray, Virginia, come around a curve, and this is well south of Front Royal. So he's heading down toward Shenandoah, going through Luray, and this is as far south that I chased him that day. But still, good chase. I'm glad I got the shot season. It's pretty neat looking. All right, so now moving on to the Lehigh Valley, which is the NS 8104 on Norfolk Southern, and this is on empty coal train 777. Again, this is at St. James, Maryland. Bill Kaufman and I chased this train, and this had the 8104 along with the nickel plate unit on it. So this is at St. James. And again, why he swapped crews at Vardo Yard in Hagerstown. Bill and I repositioned up north. Again, this is on the far side, the north side of the Martin Elevator complex here in Morgansville. Just getting on his way north with new crew on board. And this is at the Possum Hollow Road grade crossing in Shippensburg. So this is farther north on Norfolk Southern's Lurgan Branch, heading north. And so I've got a couple different shots here of the nice farm country in rural Pennsylvania, heading through Amish country on the Lurgan Branch. And this is in Mount Holly Springs. The train would meet a southbound stack train in Carlisle, which is just north of here, which had a surprise on it. So here he is coming north through Mount Holly Springs, Pennsylvania. And this is the train with the surprise he met. The NS 228 came south with the Pennsy Heritage unit on it. So we were able to get a shot of that as the two trains met just out of view a little bit north of here. And this guy is heading south. All right, I think everybody that's in the jar is familiar with this view of the train passing the iconic Harris Tower in Harrisburg. So this is shot from the State Street overpass in Harrisburg. On his way to swapping crews before heading west to head for the Pittsburgh line. All right, the crew swap. This is in Lewistown, Pennsylvania. This is shot from the platform of the Amtrak platform in Lewistown, heading his way west. Now he's on the Pittsburgh line now, Norfolk Southern, otherwise known as the former Pennsylvania Railroad Middle Division. And this is our last shot of the day. We tried to get him at the Brickyard in Altoona, but we got screwed by I think an eastbound that came down the hill. So we had to get in the car and beat feet to Summer Hill, where the former Pennsy PL signal bridge stood here, and we got a nice shot of him sans the signal bridge going into very nice late afternoon light into heading into Summer Hill, Pennsylvania. All right, next, this is my only shot of the Wabash on the point. Not the best conditions, time of day to run a westbound. This is on train 21E, and this was shot in June of 2020. So here he is coming through a milepost 117 on the Pittsburgh line in Cove on Norfolk Southern. And it's another encounter I had with Mongo, otherwise known as the Monongahela Heritage Unit. This is on NS Stack Train 294, coming through the CP Banks interlocking in Marysville. So again, this was before all the NS intermodal symbols were reprofiled to different symbols. So this is the old symboling system for the intermodals. So we got some real nice, a nice telephoto and wide shot of him coming through CP Banks there in Marysville. And this is in Harrisburg. This is from the Route 39 Linglestown Road overpass in Harrisburg. So he's not far. He is bound for Rutherford, where the train will either work or swap crews before he heads east onto the Harrisburg and eventually the Reading line, heading east toward Reading, Pennsylvania. Here we go. This is the NS 8099, the Southern Heritage unit. This is before it was involved on that terrible wreck some years ago. This was on NS train 6K4, and this was back in April 2021. Of course, again, coming across Sherman's Creek, and no, I did not pay this fisherman to be in a shot. So luckily, he was in the shot. Added something to the photo. I know other times guys have offered to pay fishermen to get their shots just to add effect to the shot. So luckily, he was just doing his thing right in my frame as I took the shot. So again, this guy was going so slow, we were able to get many different shots with the 1 mile stretch right here in Cove between mileposts 116 and 117. So he's on the controlled siding coming east into Cove, Pennsylvania, right here at milepost 117. So we got a nice telephoto and wide angle shot of him. Again, this is just down the tracks, not a mile down the track, and here he is getting ready to cross the grade crossing at Cove with a empty hoppers going west. And then again, going so slow, you're able to get in the car and beat him to CP Banks in Marysville. And here he is coming under the signal bridge on the controlled siding. And again, this train was going east as well, and he'd eventually hit the NS Harrisburg and Rain line headed east. So after that, again, this is right by the Norfolk Southern GIA Intermodal facility in Harrisburg. So there's a stacked train going west, and the empty tankers coming east. And then we were able to get a nice shot of him coming past the depot in Palmyra, now on the NS Harrisburg line. And this is where we conclude our chase of the 8099 for this day. But all in all, good day with some good shots. Now we move on to the Pennsy. This is the northbound intermodal train 227, heading through past Harris Tower in downtown Harrisburg, looking from the State Street overpass in downtown Harrisburg into some very, very fine late afternoon light, headed west. And here we go again. This is a different day. This is on NS train 214 in August of 2021. And this was at the Tommytown Road grade crossing in Sharpsburg, Maryland, coming north on NS's Hagerstown line. Then again, catching up with him again. This is approaching Vardo Yard, where he will swap crews, and this is getting ready to cross the Wrench Road grade crossing just south of Vardo Yard in Hagerstown. And again, this is the 8102. This is outside the rock quarry in Birdsboro, Pennsylvania. And this unit was sitting up here for several weeks. So I went up there twice within a week and got a couple different shots of it sitting in the snow. And I have to thank the tip for Bill Kalkman for pointing that out. So Bill and I went up on 2 different consecutive weekends to get shots of the unit while I was a sitting duck here in Birdsboro, waiting to be called to I think take the stone loads back east. So we were get a couple different neat shots of the train sitting right outside the rock quarry in Birdsboro, Pennsylvania. So moving on, this is my only encounter. This is with what they dubbed the original Norfolk Southern Heritage Unit. This is ES44AC 8114, and this is leading NS train 24M on February of 2021, and this is coming south just past the Martin's Mark Station in Benjies, Maryland, on Amtrak's Northeast Corridor, bound for the Lombard Intermodal Facility on NS, which is just outside of Bayview Yard in Baltimore, Maryland. And here he is. He has reached the Intermodal Facility at Lombard Street, pulling in. Normally when the trains yard, they come in over on these 2 tracks over here. So again, the old saying goes, once you figure out the railroad, they do something different. And for whatever reason, they yard the train on this track. And from what I hear from fellow rail fans, Jim Kleeman and Bill Kaufman, that was the first ever time they saw a intermodal train yard on this track versus the other 2 tracks over here on the left-hand side of the frame. So while he worked the yard, we got many different shots here of the different equipment around Lombard Street intermodal facility on Norfolk Southern. And in the back here, you can see the cat poles of Amtrak's Northeast Corridor passing through Bayview. So again, just some different shots of the train working here at Lombard Street. Take a little drink of water. All right. Now this is farther south. The train was long enough where the train made long enough cuts where we moved a little bit farther south. And this is passing under, this is the CSX Sparrows Point branch right here. And the train was long to where he made long enough cuts where he were able to get some nice shots of him, maybe about, I don't know, maybe 3/4 to a mile farther south. This is now on the Norfolk Southern President Street branch, which eventually leads to the Consol facility in Baltimore, which we saw a little bit earlier in the program. So while he was down here, just got some different shots of the train making his cuts yarding the train at Lombard Street. Again, this is the CSX Sparrows Point branch right here. And just got a going away shot of the interesting architecture and Baltimore City. I don't think this factory is defunct now. It's no longer in use, but I just thought the architecture and the stonework was interesting to incorporate in the shot of the unit as he continued to work the yard. And moving on to the writing unit, this is leading NS Train Manifest 13R. This is at Shenandoah Junction, West Virginia, which is a popular rail fan locale where the NS Hagerstown line crosses CSX's Cumberland sub. So got the train coming south here at milepost 22 on the Hagerstown line coming south. And here we go. This is an interesting move. This was profiled as NS train Y93. So the crew, I think, spun the power, then went back to the fuel pad in Harrisburg and refueled the engines, then took them and coupled them onto the outbound coal empties at Marysville. So got some interesting shots of the units running light here across Rockville Bridge on the Marysville side of the Susquehanna River. So I've got some neat shots so you don't get to see all too often with engines running light across the bridge here at Rockville. And this was him reversing past me. So got some real nice shot. This is engine is reversing past right here. And of course, this was before they did the recent repaint on it. So you got burn damage and whatever else. She's not looking as sharp as she did when she got repainted her heritage livery way back when. So thankfully she's been repainted, looking much sharper like her former self back when she was first released back in 2012. And here the train is tied down, waiting for the outbound crew to take it out. This is in Marysville, right along Route 11/15. So while the train was parked here, got a multitude of different shots. Got a close-up of the classic Reading diamond on the conductor side of the engine. And while we're here, NS Manifest 37A made an appearance. Got a nice side-by-side shot of the 37A with ST70 ACE 1092 going west onto the Pittsburgh line. So now the outbound crew's on board, and the train is now profiled as Y91, which is an extra whole empty train number 591. He's on the move here, going through CPK and interlocking in Duncannon. So we got him at Rockville, we got him at Marysville, we got him here, and then we chased him out to Lewistown, and this is the Amtrak's westbound Pennsylvania, and I think this was either the Hickory Creek or Babbling Brook, New York Central streamline observation car that was being chartered on the Pennsylvania that day. So got a neat shot of the Reading coming up alongside that beautiful New York Central observation car at Lewistown. So got a nice wide angle shot there. I mean, excuse me, a telephoto, now a wide angle shot coming here at Lewistown.
I think that's the Babbling Brook.
Okay, it's either the Babbling Brook or the Hickory Creek. So it was neat to see the way with the train passing it.
Yeah, Hickory Creek is Foo's side. This is a Bud Cordial.
Okay, I'm not an expert on passenger cars, so I knew it was one of the two. But thank you for the clarification, Mr. Gordy. All right, so this is my only time encountering the NS safety train. This was NS train 974 with GP38-2 5642 dressed up in first responder scheme, just like its counterpart of the 911. And this was heading west, I think, to Pittsburgh. So again, Bill and Kalkman and I got wind of this train by luck this day and chased it from Duncannon to Tipton. So here he is on the move, new crew on board, leaving the Harrisburg terminal, getting onto the Pittsburgh line at Duncannon. Here he is passing through Mattawatta, Pennsylvania. This is milepost 177.5 on the Pittsburgh line for Norfolk Southern. And then here he is coming through Tipton. For those familiar, another Pennsylvania PL signal bridge used to stand here, which has long been removed with the implementation of PTC. So here he is coming into late evening skies at Tipton, and we thought he was going to change crews like every other train does in Altoona, but since this was a special move, we figured they put a long haul crew that took the train all the way from Harrisburg to Pittsburgh. So we never did get another crack at the engine. So this was our last shot of the train as he passes through Tipton, which is milepost 225 on NS's Pittsburgh line. And just going back to the Erie, this is on NS train 20T, and this was in May of 2021. This is in Millerstown, Pennsylvania. This is at track level, where the shot I had before of it was from the Route 17 overpass. So we did a short little chase of him from Millerstown to Harrisburg. So here he is. This is in Kincora Heights, which is just east of Duncannon. He's on the controlled siding heading toward Harrisburg. Then we caught up with him at Cove right here. And then we also got him passing through the interlocking at CP Banks in Marysville. And again, he is passing the NSGI-8 intermodal facility just outside of downtown Harrisburg. And this is where we concluded our mini chase of this train of the day. And then wrapping up here, this was totally by luck. This is back when the Penn Central was not peeling at the skin. She looked halfway decent back then. This is on loaded trash train NS62V, passing through the outskirts of Duncannon, passing under the milepost 121 signal bridges, which is now long removed. This was a neat shot. Penn Central, which once passed under these Pennsy Cylinder Bridge back in the day, which was neat.
Yeah, you could say this was taken in 1972.
Yeah, if they had wide calves back then.
Almost.
But yeah, it was still a neat shot nonetheless. So I'm glad I got some shots of the Pennsy signals before they got the whack back in. I think it was 2019 or 2020 is when they all eventually fell. And then here it is catching up with the train at Route 39, the Linglestown Road overpass in Harrisburg. And I believe this train goes east to Reading and maybe even further points east. So he's getting ready to go swap crews in Harrisburg before he eventually hits the Harrisburg line and the Reading line onto Reading and points east. And that's where we conclude your night's program. So I welcome any questions or comments for anyone that's interested, and I'll stop my babbling and open up to the fine audience we have here.
Very good, Alex. Thank you.
Yeah, outstanding program. First question. You must have kept a detailed notebook. This is the most detailed program I've ever heard. Mileposts, locations, who you were with. So
yeah, well, I definitely took notes, but I also pretty good at memorizing stuff too. But I did, write some notes down just to make sure I knew what I was talking about. But I do try and make notations as well, and I try and be is very thorough to provide context to the program to help the viewers understand what they're looking at and where all the photos were taken.